That was one of the most strange and upsetting hearings I've ever been to. And actually it wasn't a hearing, it was a meeting. I may get some of this wrong, but Weymouth passed a smoke-free, a very broad, comprehensive smoke-free workplace regulation that included prohibiting smoking in restaurants and bars. And the town manager was extremely perturbed that the Board of Health had passed this. So the town manager ordered the Board of Health to hold a post-enactment meeting so that this could be discussed more widely amongst the residents of Weymouth. So they held a meeting, and it was sort of like what DJ said about Yarmouth. There were so many people at this meeting, or they anticipated so many people at this meeting, that they held it in, I believe it was a high school, and the place is jammed. I mean, it's absolutely jammed, standing room only. So we go in, and there were police there, which we frequently boards of health during this time would get a police detail, because you just didn't know how drunk your opponents were actually going to be, because they would come in buses. So we get to this meeting, and this little boy, he must have been about 7 or 8, in a soccer uniform, was one of the first people to speak at this meeting. And he gets up and he says that he has asthma, and that he's so happy now that he can go into friendlies in Weymouth with his parents after a soccer game because there's no smoking. And no sooner did he get that sentence out of his mouth than people started booing rabidly at this little kid. Just boo, 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 get out of here, we don't need to hear from you. To such an extent that the police officer came in and escorted him out and stopped the meeting. At least that's the way I remember it. It was absolutely, I mean, I have never seen a group of people that were so amazingly disrespectful of this little boy. It was an astounding meeting. I don't think anyone who was at that meeting does not remember that to this day.
I remember I was booed off the stage at this hearing. I was in the 3rd grade. My mother worked for the town of Weymouth Board of Health, and she was very involved with the smoke-free workplace. Reason being that I am an asthmatic, and it was a tough time for us to go many places. Restaurants weren't the same as they are right now. Sporting events, it was really hard to go out as a family without giving me, issues with my asthma. She also has asthma, so it was really tough. But she was asked to have me speak at a hearing that happened at the McCloud building or Whipple Center in North Weymouth when I was in the 3rd grade. I think I was about 8 years old, 8 or 9. I was very nervous. It was like the first time speaking in front of anyone other than my mom and dad or my teachers. So I was pretty nervous. I got up there, and these big lights were shining in my eyes, sweating, and I couldn't really reach the podium, so they had to get me a big stool to climb up on and stand on. And I was standing on this stool with about 50 to 100 people sitting in front of me, all smokers, listening to what I had to say about why I didn't want them to smoke in the restaurants that I want to go to. And all I remember were the mean mugged faces, the nasty little remarks that people would make, like, get off the stage, you're just a kid, you don't belong here, where are the adults, where's your parents? And when I started to say what I had to say, what I really believed in, not being able to smoke in a restaurant so I could go out to eat, that's when they really got upset. And I don't know if it was because I didn't want them to smoke in the restaurant, or because they thought because they knew it was working. They knew that after this they're probably not going to be able to. It was really part of the beginning of what the Board of Health did to ban smoking in Weymouth and Massachusetts.